Hello and welcome to our special edition of On Deck with Avoya, your weekly travel update. I'm your host, Chris Greene, Director of Network Expansion for Avoya Travel. And I thank you so much for your time and for your continued support of our weekly program. Avoya Travel has just completed, like this morning. In fact, half the people that participated are still at the airport or in the process of making their way home from Avoya Travel's Seize Today marketing event. But we're the lucky bunch, and that we have two participants joining us who are on board the Celebrity Apex and part of the exclusive Avoya Travel Seize Today Avoya marketing event. I'm really excited to have them as special guests. Penny Rushing, owner of 4 Points Travel, an independent agency in the Avoya Travel Network, and a past Meet the Network guest here on Deck with Avoya, will be joining me, as well as Laura Burke, Senior Manager of Avoya Mastermind, and also a past Meet the Team guest here on Deck with Avoya. And I look forward to welcoming them both to our program here in just a few minutes. The Center for Disease Control, the CDC, has extended its conditional sailing order for the cruise industry. We'll have the latest on that move, as well as news about a reopening of an iconic Caribbean property that's been closed for 4 years, since Hurricane Irma. Crystal Cruises is selling its private jet and a cruise ship in the Macy's Day Thanksgiving Parade. It's true, thanks to the creative folks at Disney. All of those stories coming up in our Eye on the Industry feature. We'll also discuss our program for those of you that are new to travel and why you should look at Avoya Travel as your host partner. We'll recap our ongoing promotions for experienced travel advisors, and we'll make sure you have all the ways to reach out and get connected with a network expansion specialist. So let's kick it off. This week's edition of On Deck with Avoya, your weekly travel update with some industry insights for the week and our Eye on the Industry feature. Saying the pandemic isn't over, the CDC has extended its conditional sail order through January 15th until 2022, when it's expected to then become just a suggested best practice. Quoting from a story in USA Today, Captain Amy Trefiletti, who leads the CDC's maritime unit, said the extension was in the best interest of public health. The pandemic isn't over. We've seen what the Delta variant can do. Despite, what really have been the best efforts of the cruise industry to provide a safer and healthier environment for crew, passengers, and community, COVID-19 has still been a challenge, particularly with the Delta variant. Now, the order applies to foreign flag commercial passenger vessels that have a capacity of 250 people or more, operating or planning to operate for overnight stays for passengers or crew in U.S. waters. In January, the health agency plans to transition that to a voluntary program in which participation will be at the discretion of the cruise line, and will continue to follow this ongoing story. 4 years after being completely destroyed by Hurricane Irma, the iconic and legendary Saba Rock Resort, located on a 1-acre cay in Virgin Gorda, part of the British Virgin Islands, has reopened to great fanfare. The resort, made famous by diving legend Bert Kilbride, has long been a favorite of divers, kiteboarders, and of course, those who sail. The rebuilt resort features 7 guest rooms and 2 suites, featuring a design that plays up the island's reputation as a kiteboarding and sailing destination. Also featured are an open-air restaurant, lounge, 2 bars, including a rooftop sunset bar, a spa room, a dive and retail space that will serve as a museum with artifacts from nearby shipwrecks. Now, Elaine Prion, Saba Rock's general manager, is quoted as saying, "The reopening of Saba Rock is a great day of pride for everyone involved in its rebuilding and the transformation process. The new Saba Rock experience celebrates our storied past and the lifestyle that attracts visitors from all over the world. This is definitely a resort that has and remains on my personal bucket list, and I hope that one day I can certainly visit for myself." Crystal Cruises has sold its private jet. In a story on Sea Trade, Crystal Cruises is selling its private Boeing 787-8 jet at a steep loss. Now, the sale is reported to be worth $25 million, and that means a $37 million loss for Crystal in the sale. The sale is reported to be to a private holding company that's associated with the CEO of their parent company, Genting Hong Kong. Now, this is not the first plane that Crystal has sold recently, as it also reported that they sold their smaller 12-seat passenger plane that was used to carry guests to Crystal Ocean, river, or yacht sailings. The sale is part of an effort to dispose of non-core assets and improve the company's liquidity during the pandemic, as well as save on costs associated with maintaining the aircraft. And finally, a cruise ship in the Macy's Day Thanksgiving Parade. Well, it's true, and it comes to you from the Imagineering minds at Disney. The Magic Meets the Sea float, inspired by the new Disney Wish, which will be entering service in June of next year, will sail from 77th Street in Central Park West to the Macy's department store in Herald Square. Disney and the Macy's Day Thanksgiving Parade have a long history, as a 40-foot Mickey Mouse first flew above the crowd all the way back in 1934. As well as featuring the Disney Wish, the float will feature Disney characters, including Aladdin and Jasmine, and of course, those iconic red funnels. The 95th annual Macy's Day Thanksgiving Parade will air nationwide on November 25th. It starts at 9, goes till noon, and that's going to be in all time zones. Seeing those iconic characters in the most iconic parade will just be one more positive sign that we're starting to put the COVID crisis, hopefully, behind us. Now, normally at this time during our weekly On Deck with Avoya program, we would feature either a Meet the Team, the Network, or a Meet the Industry segment. But this week, we're bringing you something a little bit different as we welcome back 2 former On Deck with Avoya featured guests for a special recap of Avoya Travel's exclusive Seize Today Avoya marketing event. And again, that just finished up this morning on the Celebrity Apex as it disembarked back in Fort Lauderdale. Penny Rushing, owner of 4 Points Travel, an independent agency in the Avoya Travel Network, is joining us to offer her thoughts on the event, the newest ship in the celebrity fleet, and from her perspective as a travel advisor, everything that made this networking event very, pretty special. Laura Burke, senior manager of Avoya's Mastermind program, is also joining us to offer her perspective as an employee of Avoya Travel. Of course, it was the employees that helped facilitate this exclusive event, and I look forward to hearing about both of their experiences. Exclusive events are just another cornerstone resource that is offered to those in the Avoya Travel Network and are part of the reason why Avoya Travel is the 6th time and we're nominated for a 7th Host Agency of the Year award. And we're certainly hoping to win that in a couple of weeks in Miami. We hope you hear something that sparks your interest because our team of network expansion specialists would love to tell you all about our program and answer all of your questions. And of course, we'll have our contact information for you at the end of our interview. So let's welcome in our special guest this week, Laura Burke, Senior Manager of Avoya Mastermind, and Penny Rushing, owner of 4 Points Travel, an independent agency in the Avoya Travel Network. Thank you both for your time, and I hope you had a great time this week on the Celebrity Apex.
Absolutely.
We did.
Laura, I'm going to start with you and was hoping maybe you could give me a little bit of a big picture overview of what the event was, who participated, and from your viewpoint, how the overall event went.
Well, this event was really about getting back to cruising, back to travel, back face to face with our Avoya family. We had suppliers, Avoya staff, we had our wonderful Avoya IAs, and it really was an event that recharged the soul. I mean, I can't even express like the happiness that's inside I'm like ready to just tell the world about it. But for the recharging piece, it was definitely a success.
Penny, what about from your perspective? What are some of the highlights of this Avoya event that you came away with? And as a follow-up, who are some of the vendors that you spent time with and how valuable an experience is that for you as a travel advisor and an agency owner?
The highlights were just getting back in contact face-to-face with other IAs and other agents and the suppliers. The staff of Avoya was amazing. The event ran flawlessly from our side, and it was really informative to sit down with the suppliers and chat with them. Celebrity was just amazing to host us for this event, and just to hear their perspective from their side, what's going on, what their predictions are, what they think the timeline might be. Of course, none of us have a crystal ball, but just to bounce ideas off of each other.
Who were some of the vendors that you met with, Penny?
We actually met with all of them at some point because we had roundtable discussions. Celebrity, Royal Caribbean, AMA Waterways, Sandals. Help me.
We had Virgin, Carnival, NCL,
Oceana.
There were 18 suppliers on board with us, so it was an amazing event.
It was.
All the big players for sure then.
All the big players, yes, all the big
Cool.
players.
Laura, as the senior manager of Avoya Mastermind, why do you think participation in these kind of events are vital for a successful travel business? And as a follow-up, how can a smart agency owner leverage participation in these kind of events, what they learn at these events, and then turn those into more sales and commissions for their agency?
Well, like Penny said, the networking piece of it, they're invaluable to growing and developing an independent agency. And there's just so many opportunities to learn and grow your agency, not just from the brand. We thank Celebrity and their graciousness for having us on board, but our other suppliers that we were just mentioning who participate. But more importantly, and I think this event especially, just that, again, face-to-face opportunity, the time that we had to sit with each other, talk with each other, encourage each other, and learn from each other. If you are able to take that experience and come back to it, like assess your current model, figure out what's working for you, and then figure out what isn't working. And if you are willing to make some changes, and change sometimes it's hard, especially when you say, stop doing what you're doing and try some of these things that you just learned about on this experience, more sales will lead to more commissions. It's that simple.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, we try to make it more complicated than it is, but again, just the things you're talking about, Laura, just really simple, practical ways that can move your agency forward, right?
Correct. It's not rocket science. There's no secret to success here. It is simply learning, listening, reading, growing from each other. And that's important.
Absolutely. Penny, now this was Avoya Travel's first large face-to-face event since the pandemic shut the industry down in March of 2020. Tell me from your perspective a little bit about the safety procedures that Celebrity had in place. What was the embarkation like versus in the past? And what was it like to interact with your fellow members of the Avoya Travel Network? And of course, people like Laura, the Avoya Travel staff.
The embarkation was as easy as I think it's going to get. It was touchless. Mm-hmm. You go up, you show them your passport, you show them your test results, and they put it all in there. If need be, they scan your passport for your picture, or they physically take a new picture of you. You go to the next station, they double check what you have just given them, which is a good idea. And you walk on board. The app that you download, you can either use that, for instance, your key, or you can use your physical key, which is in a slot right by your door. Everything else is pretty much on the app. The app kind of runs everything, and it's very, very simple. Once you get into the groove and get the hang of it, it's a breeze.
Yeah, I've got the app downloaded because I'm going to be on next week, and I'm really looking forward to seeing all these new innovations and just kind of comparing, cruising in this moment to cruising in the past, just to see how everything compares. But the smiles on your faces pretty much answer a lot of my questions that I have already. Laura, what about for yourself? It must have been a great experience to see everyone on board, your fellow staff members, all the affiliates. Did you feel safe? And more importantly, did it give you that same feeling of happiness? I think I know the answer already, but did you get that wow moment that cruising had in the past?
It was very emotional. Like when you first see people for the first time, it was very emotional. So great to see so many familiar faces. And I absolutely felt safe. I never once felt like I wasn't safe from anything going on. I felt celebrated, which was pretty cool too. And it wasn't the same feeling of happiness. It wasn't. It was so much more. I mean, it was better than before. Yeah,
sometimes something has to be taken away for a certain amount of time for you really to have that full appreciation of what you had and hopefully what you're going to get again, right?
Correct.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, let's chat for a second about this new Celebrity ship. How exciting, right? The Celebrity Apex. It's the second in the Edge class ships. It was originally scheduled to come out during 2020, but, well, we know how that went with COVID. So they delayed it. And then this summer, the ship started sailing out of Europe before coming over for the winter to be based out of Florida. Penny, was this your first time on the Apex? I assume it was.
You're correct. It was.
Now, what kinds of impressions did you come away with the ship itself? Is this a ship that you'd be excited to have your clients sail on?
Oh, my goodness. Absolutely. It is stunning. There's something for everybody. There are little nooks and crannies that you can go to read a book, just to get away, to hide if you need to do work where it's quiet. And then there's the main areas, the lounges, the music, and the shows. The shows were amazing, excellent entertainment and talent. It's just a beautiful ship.
I mean, I saw pictures all week when I was on, we have a Facebook page for our independent affiliates, and I was taking a peek at that and some of the things that they posted. I mean, that stage where some of the events that you guys held, that just looked really cool with the big tree and all of that. And
it is. And the food was outstanding. Even in the main dining area, I was fortunate enough to dine there, and also specialty dining. It was very, very good in both locations.
Fantastic. I'm going to jump into food here in just a second because I'm a foodie, no doubt. But Laura, before we do that, what were some of the highlights for you personally on this new celebrity ship?
The staff. The staff were absolutely amazing. They went above and beyond. They were so happy to see us. I mean, as far as spaces on the Apex, my favorite, I think, was Eden. It was a very diverse space. That was some of where I could find like little nooks and crannies to sit and get quiet, but still, see some of the action going on. But I would have to say, hands down, the experience with the staff, they were so grateful to be back at it and serving, and it was hands down the best experience in a very long time.
What about this magic carpet thing that they have on the Celebrity Apex? Tell me a little bit about that. Sounds unique.
It is. There is part of the ship that moves. You just never know where it's going to be. It's off the side of the ship, and it serves as a bar, so a private space, dining option. And sometimes I was in my room, in my cabin, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, hey, here it comes. And so you just never know where it's going to be, except when you're in the elevator, it will tell you what floor it is on, which is pretty cool. But it's unique. It's a very special piece to the ship.
The color palette, everything, all the artwork just really looked outstanding. I mean, really modern, yet not so modern that you felt like you couldn't personally interact with some of it. Is that a good way to put it?
Yes,
it is.
All right, so let's talk food, right? Because for me, one of the great things about being on a cruise ship is the ability to have such a diverse, options for food. There's first breakfast, there's second breakfast, there's lunch, there's mid-lunch. Anyway, you get the idea. Did Celebrity Apex deliver in that respect? And any highlights from the dining that you guys would share? Penny, I'll start with you on that one.
Okay. Yes, the buffet area where the staff is serving you are not serving yourself, is just amazing. And I'm going to hone in on the desserts because that's pretty much the highlight. They were beautiful as well as tasty, and quite a bit of variety. And that's another thing that I pulled out of just the whole buffet experience. The different stations, there was quite a bit of variety within the different types of food, whether it be Asian or Italian or a burger and fries. And then you had your salads and stuff like that. But there was a lot of variety, which across the board fits pretty much everybody. Everybody would be happy.
I have this out, maybe not a concern, but I was wondering, with the buffet, does it back up, or have they got it pretty well down to the point where the line's moving through pretty quick?
They've got it down to a science. There wasn't maybe two people in front of you for any station you walked up to. Oh,
okay. Any idea what the capacity percentage was that you guys sailed with this week?
It was about 30%, wasn't it? 35%.
Yes, it was. I think.
So even if you add, even if you like triple what you said and you walk up to a station and there's 4 or 5 people in line in front of you, well, there's always 4 or 5 people in front of you, normally at the buffet. So even once they're able to get back to full capacity, it sounds like the buffet process is going to, move pretty smooth, and at least as long as they continue to serve you.
Right. They also in the buffet area, it wasn't just the people behind serving. they had people out with us helping to manage and move people along and keep the flow going. So there was more staff in that area to help keep things moving. And I think that's vital to that whole line situation. But the changes I thought were great when it came to the buffet area.
Now, did you get a chance to eat in any of the main restaurants, Laura?
As I ate in all 4 of the main dining rooms. Cool. And I did eat at Raw on 5, which is one of the specialties, which was excellent. I thought the main dining concept was great because each one, there was the celebrity classics that you could order from any of the restaurants, but then each restaurant had their signature items. And so you were able to go and eat at each one of those, and which is what we did. We tried each one of the main dining rooms, and all the food was very good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to it. I'll only be on for 2 days, so I'll probably not get to all 4, but it certainly won't be from a lack of effort. I promise you that. Penny, after all your discussions with fellow members of the Avoya Travel Network, the Avoya staff that attended, and of course our amazing vendor partners on board, did you come away with maybe more of a confirmation in your mind that the future of cruising and the future of leisure travel is indeed a pretty bright future?
I did. The atmosphere overall was very positive, very uplifting. Everybody's excited. Business is starting to pick up a little bit, and that's just enough to spark happiness within everybody, whether it be the suppliers or the agents and even the Avoya staff.
Yeah, and then hopefully that excitement transfers over to your customers, right? I mean, because there's nothing like that firsthand experience, you having participated, you being able to speak from that first person point of view to get the point across to a client about the reality of our current moment.
Right, and to go into the detail of step by step what to expect when getting, like we talked about earlier, getting on the ship, and once you're on the ship, what the experience is going to be.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, I think if there's a concern, right, amongst customers maybe, or at least in my small sample size of people I've spoken with, is just that the experience would be such a dramatic departure from what they're used to and have come to like about cruising, that they would have to like decide all over again, am I a cruiser or not? But it sounds like they can just kind of toss that out the window.
Exactly.
Good. Laura, I'm going to offer you the last question, and I'm going to offer it in 2 parts. One, do you foresee other amazing events in the near future that are current, and more importantly, at least for our show, our potential future members of the Avoya Travel Network will be able to participate in? And as a follow-up, why should they make the time and expend that energy to participate?
Well, first, this is Avoya, so we're always going to create amazing opportunities for our network. So, I mean, that's an easy question to answer. But making time to participate is really an investment in your independent agency and the future success of your business. So, besides, who doesn't like to travel? Right. Why would you join our network and not travel and take time to do that? So.
And I think it just makes you a more well-rounded individual, right? I mean, you can sell from so many different perspectives when you've had a chance to experience the product, for yourself. I mean, there's just no doubt about that. And engagement, we always talk about in my show, I know in your role, a senior manager of Avoya Mastermind, that engagement is such a big word. And whether you're engaging in programs from your own home, whether you're engaging in programs that are offered by the vendor, or whether you take it that next step and engage in events like this, what you put into something is what you're going to get out of it. Don't you agree?
I totally agree with that. And if I take a look at our dashboard and look at those top agencies, I know every single one of those agencies are out there. They're continuously experiencing products, sharing with their customers, and growing their business based on that piece, because people like to know that you've done it, you have firsthand knowledge, and that you're not going to point them in the wrong direction. So I think the two go hand in hand, and that's part of the trust building process of building the relationship with your customers.
Absolutely. And it just sparked another question. So I said last one, but I I guess I told a fib. One of the cool things about our network, and I, either one of you feel free to jump in on this, is that we do have ways, like we don't drive a competition component between independent affiliates. So there is that supportive nature, right? We do have like the private Facebook page. And if somebody is selling something that's out of their normal sphere of expertise, they can reach out, and the other independent affiliates in the network are happy to chime in and offer suggestions, sometimes even go way above and beyond and really personally assist to provide that information. I just think it's another reason that it drives home how important the shared success concept is that Avoya Travel has with its independent affiliates.
So the past 2 years, if you haven't learned anything else from the pandemic, is the fact that Avoya is a family, and we have supported each other through thick and thin. And you could just see it, feel it, experience it on board this past week with just getting back together. And I mean, the conversations that were going on between suppliers and IAs and Avoya staff, I mean, it was exciting. And we are truly a family. It's the Avoya family. I don't even think it's, I don't even like the word network because it's such a family atmosphere.
Sure, absolutely. Penny, any last thoughts that you would add to that?
Just the fact that, as the IAs, a lot of us were getting together, bouncing off ideas from each other. How are you going to do things in the future? How are you going to change your agency for the better? Will this work for you? Will it not? And just taking advice from other IAs, and also the Avoya staff, because they look at it a little bit, obviously, from a different perspective than we do.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I thank you both for your time today. I mean, I'm so excited for next week. I can hardly contain myself. I can't believe that it's been 2 years since I've had a chance to step on a cruise ship. It used to be like a once a quarter kind of thing when we could. I mean, that's one of the benefits of living in Florida, is you can get away for those little shorties and things like that. So I'm so excited to be on the Apex, and I'm so glad that you guys both had just a really wonderful experience, and that you're both looking forward to future events like this.
Well, even if it were a bad experience, it's better than the pandemic. And I have to say, cruising's back. Celebrity was amazing. And our network, I hope you guys consider coming on board, because we are a fun bunch of people and we like to do some business.
Absolutely. Laura Burke, Senior Manager of Avoya Mastermind, Penny Rushing, owner of 4 Points Travel. Thank you both for that great discussion. And again, I'm super excited, and we really thank you guys for your time today.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Next week, we're so excited. We're going to have another edition of Meet the Team with Alyssa DeYoung. Alyssa is the marketing manager at Avoya Travel. And we're in the process of a great refresh of our marketing resource center. Because one of the things that Avoya Travel does incredibly well is listen to our independent affiliates. And when they bring things to us that make sense, we're happy to incorporate that. And so Alyssa's going to join us next Thursday, and we'll find out all about Alyssa and her role as marketing manager at Avoya Travel. But we'll also learn the latest as far as the latest with the Marketing Resource Center, which again is a resource that our independent affiliates absolutely love. All right, so let's talk some nuts and bolts. Like, are you new to the travel industry? Hearing that discussion with Laura and Penny just has to excite you, right? I mean, I've been in the industry for a long time, and I know I'm excited. Well, Avoya Travel, again, the 6-time winner of Host Agency of the Year, has an amazing program for those that are new to the travel industry. You can build your business with best-in-class marketing, technology, support, ongoing professional development, be your own boss, set your own hours, and the lifestyle, right? I mean, you just heard about an amazing experience that they have. So reach out and contact us to get started. The network expansion specialist would be more than happy to go over all the details. Now, what about if you're an experienced travel agent? We have 2 ongoing great promotions, one for high-end agencies. And by high-end, I mean like pre-pandemic, you were doing about $500,000 a year in gross sales or above. You would have went into the pandemic probably with a lot of future cruise and travel credits as bookings started to cancel. Now the phones are ringing, clients are excited, and maybe you're looking for just a better place to call home. You're looking for the resources that can take that business even to the next level. Well, we have a promotion where we can waive, 0 cost to join the network. And that's a $495 savings. If you're trying to get to that level, if you're experienced, but you've just been maybe struggling or just slowly building the blocks to that level of success, we have a program that can help you too. Our mastermind program, our brand sales specialist, the marketing resource center, the technology, the support, everything can really help you become an elite agent. For those of you in that situation, as long as you qualify, we're waiving our first renewal fee. So again, 2 great promotions, and you can explore with complete flexibility, no long-term contract or exclusive agreement. Again, my team, the network expansion specialists, are more than happy to get you qualified for that. And how do you reach out? Well, pretty easy to reach us here at Avoya Travel. There's so many ways. You can send me a personal email at chris.greene@avoyatravel.com. You can give me a call. Of course, the easiest way to get engaged is to reach out to our website at avoyanetwork.com. Put in your request. We'll get you connected to a network expansion specialist. They'll go over all the details. They can help set up a demonstration of our unique technology. You can leave us a message here on our Facebook page. You can leave us a message on YouTube if you're watching it there. We just want to have a chance to tell our story, hear your story, and see if it makes a good fit. If it does, then we're happy to put it all together. And if not, all we did was waste a little bit of time, but we've learned something about each other. So there's a reward in that experience as well. So again, reach out, start the conversation, and maybe really soon we could put together the beginning phases of a shared success relationship with you too. Thank you again for your time today. Thank you again to Laura and to Penny for that great recap of our Seize Today Avoya marketing event that just took place this week on board the Celebrity Apex. Big thank you to Marissa Smith, who's our producer, does an amazing job keeping this whole show together. I look forward to next week's episode. I'll just be fresh off the ship myself. And until then, have a great week, everyone.